Logging on to the daily DVAR halacha. And here's a brand new halacha for you, and it is for Tuesday, 19th day of May. Here we go. First of all, I want to remind you that it's Rosh Chodesh, Monday night and Tuesday, first day of the month of Sivan. I actually want to start this halacha in a strange place, and that's with the song of Dayainu that we sing on Pesach night. Everybody's familiar with that song. One of the lines that we say in that song is, Ilu kervanu lifnei har Sinai, V'lo nasan lanu es haTorah Dayainu. Which means, if God had brought us close to the mountain of Sinai and not given us the Torah, it would have been enough. Well, there's a lot said about what all those would have been enoughs mean, but in its simplest meaning, it sounds like if God had just gotten us to the foot of Har Sinai and not given us the Torah, we would have gotten enough. And that seems amazingly strange to say because, we need our Torah. Our Torah is everything. So how could it be that we could dare to say that if we had just gotten to the foot of the mountain, that would have been enough? So I want to tell you something, that Rosh Chodesh Sivan, that's why I'm telling it to you today, Rosh Chodesh Sivan is the day that we got to the mountain, and when the Jews camped there at the foot of the mountain, just a few days before the Torah was given, it says that Vayichan Sham Yisrael neged ahar, and he camped there, Yisrael, opposite the mountain, and it's written in the singular. The Jewish people in singular camped in front of the mountain, and the rabbis say, what does that mean that he, singular, the Jewish people, camped there? And you probably know, it's famous, that the rabbis answer that we were ki ish echad b'lev echad. We were like one man of one heart. The Jews were totally unified in their cause, which was to surround the mountain of Sinai and to then receive the Torah. Now, when we say those words, if we had just gotten to Sinai, as we did, and that would have been enough, one of the beautiful things that we might be alluding to is that moment when the Jewish people got to the mountain of Sinai and had absolute total achdus, absolute total unity, that in itself is a giant, giant step. Of course, it's still greater to get the Torah, but to reach the apex of the Jewish people all being as one, all feeling as one person with one heart, is everything that we strive for. Look, I'll give you a strange comparison. Once Hillel told someone who was very interested in Judaism and said, just learn ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, love your neighbor as yourself, and the rest of it is just additional to that. But the rest of the Torah all circles around this concept of love your neighbor as yourself. I guess it's comparable to say that when the Jews arrived at that state that they were like all one with each other, then they were at a great, great high moment, and they almost, if one could say it, almost didn't need the Torah after that high moment, because that is pretty much one of the giant pieces of our Torah, as Hillel said. Learn to love your neighbor as yourself, and the rest of the Torah just will kind of follow along with that. So, in short, I'm just telling you today that when we say that thing in Dayainu, of just getting to the mountain itself, which happened on this day, Rosh Chodesh Sivan, and being one with all fellow Jews is such an enormous thing that it is something, I still can't call it as great as the receiving of the Torah, but it's up there as to being something that would have been enough to say, Dayainu, that's enough, because it in itself is a giant, giant thing to strive for. May we be blessed with this type of achdus, of this type of togetherness always, because that is what every Jew strives for. It is what Hillel called the cornerstone of our religion. It's what Rabbi Akiva said is klal gadol b'Torah, a great rule in our Torah. If I'm putting together there the achdus of the Jews and the loving your fellow Jew as yourself. Thanks for logging on, and log on again tomorrow for more, and have a good Chodesh. Bye-bye.